Another day, another Heroes of the Storm broadcast in Color TV. Today we are going into the consolation match of Group A. We are still casting at the Storm and we are still in Group A. We already had TeamLiquid with their victorious run, taking down Team Mozzarella and taking down Team Alternate Fancy. They qualified for the round of 8, but we still need to find out which team is the second team to reach the round of 8. And it is either going to be Team Alternate Fancy or Team Mozzarella. Both of them facing off against each other now in this consolation match, another best of 3 series. And we're starting things off, guess what? Yes, again on Sky Temple. In this case, we're having also a very cool setup, because it's not only the Monk that is being played again. No, we are also seeing Thrall. Green Jesus is with us once again. Thrall is being played by Alternate Fancy. Mozzarella playing it not only with the Monk, but we also have Illidan now in their midst. So it's basically, in this case, one melee assassin against another melee assassin. And Thrall is being assisted. He has an Uther for the Divine Shield, and he has an Abathar as well to help him out here. So this is already a very, very cool start into the first game. Keep in mind that the loser of this best of 3 series will drop out of the tournament. The winner advances together with TeamLiquid. So let's find out which team takes the lead here on Sky Temple. The last best of the alright, already screwing this one up. The last best of 3 series of the day. Here we go. Wasn't that hard, Khaldor, was it? No. Starts on Sky Temple. We are still, of course, in Group A of the End of the Storm 3 playoffs, and we have Mozzarella going up against Alternate Fancy. The team that wins will advance together with TeamLiquid to the round of 8, and we see to the left side Mozzarella with Tazdingo on Anubarak, Vipolino on Tyrael, Holo on Jaina, Kharazim played by Ace of Spades, and Shat on Illidan. To the right side of the map, it is Thrall, Green Jesus, played by Darkmog, Blumby on Meridian, Crosby on Vala, Nurok on Abathar, and Happy on Uther. A lot of people probably a bit surprised about that Thrall pick here, but Alternate Fancy was always a team that really valued Thrall. They like to play the hero, it's a personal preference of theirs, and they have had some success with him in the past. So we will see if they can actually make him work here. He has great support. He has not only the Uther for the Divine Shield, but we also have the Anubarak. No, actually the Arthas. Starts with an A as well. I love that skin, by the way. That skin is, in my opinion, really awesome. I think at this point, I'm starting to prefer it over the Pajama Thor. A little bit crazy, I know, but there's so many Pajama Thors out there and not enough of these Nightmare skins. So, these Halloween skins. So, talking a bit about the builds and of course about the compositions here, since we are in the new patch, we have Kharazim, the Monk, as the healer on the side of Mozzarella, and he is going to supply his Divine Palm on level 10. That helps to keep Illidan alive for these battles. He went into the heal build with Transcendence. I don't really think that you can make a damage build work in competitive play. Maybe in the future, but for now most of the players are really just adding this, and I completely agree with that choice. We're seeing a Seasoned Marksman on the side of Thrall, and he kind of needs it as well, because, well, he is going to be one of those heroes that will supply a lot of the damage in the late game. Nice attempt here to lock down Crosby, who went for an auto attack build. Now a few people might ask, why exactly does Vala go for auto attack and not for the arrow build? I personally think that the arrow build would have been also a very viable build here, but they only have one range hero. They only have one range damage hero, and therefore they are trying to put as much pressure from the distance on Shat as they can, and oh, they get him! The chain lightning in the last second by Green Jesus drops him. Thrall is killing Illidan. That was a cool timing for them as well, just as the temples are up. So now, even though the death times are really low, they at least get a few seconds where they don't have to worry about him. But as already mentioned, going into the auto attack build against Illidan is going to supply some extra damage against a single target during those fights, and that's going to be an important asset for them. That's, I feel, why Crosby went into auto attack over a potential arrow build. We're seeing Manticore now taken too, and already the support build for Abathar, of course, going into Adrenal Overlord and Pressurized Glance. Tazdingo super low. Wow, I actually think he would die here, but Ace of Spades heals him with the last second move, and one more hit and he would have gone down. Actually, without the heal, he would have died because of the poison, and Venom has been chosen as the level 4 talent on Thrall. Abathar is doing Abathar things, aka soaking experience at the bot lane, where the main party is happening up here in the middle. Snowstorm on Jaina, who went, by the way, into Conjurer's Pursuit. Not really a common talent for Tomb of the... Well, it's a common talent for Tomb of the Spider Queen on her, but not really for Sky Temple, where you don't get as many globes as there. Happy is getting attacked, dropped, and killed. So it's 1-1 in kills in this game now. Abathur is soaking experience at the bot lane still. It's just keeping that up. We have Kharazim going into the protective shield here. And that once again showcases that there is just a completely different style for playing Kharazim on heroes or like on players like Ace of Spades, a former Fnatic player that is now playing for Team Mozzarella. And what we're seeing for Gran Paqueta, the support player for TeamLiquid, who's also playing this hero, and he played him earlier on today already. We're seeing now also when it comes to the talents and especially the experience, Thunderclap build for Muradin. They are up against Illidan, so it's quite normal that you're trying to just reduce his auto attack speed as much as you can. Holo, it's still surprising to me a little bit that he went into Conjurer's Pursuit. It's a great talent for the later stages of the game, but most Jaina players are just very reluctant to give up lingering chill, and you could of course also go into the deep chill here. In this case now though, in the later stages he's not going to have a huge problem with his mana pool. And we also see for Anubarak educating spines here, the extra damage during the team fights against the lanes, and Illidan with Thrill of Battle. It's a trend that Virtus Pro basically started. Lowell kind of popularized it by using it on his Illidan as well. You are trying to get the cooldown reduction to use your E, your shield, as much as you can, and especially in the later stages of the game. This is super important when you get the level 13 talent as well. Now we're having a bit of trouble here for Darkmok down to the bot lane, but Nurg of course helps him as much as he can. When the level 7 talents come in, there's also a few things that we are seeing here that are really important to talk about. I mean, first of all, we've already mentioned the Thrill of Battle. It's really the cooldown reduction that you get out of this. You get a massive amount, and that's important for your evasive shield. You need to use that as much as you can. Great kill against the 4 up at the top lane. But another very important level 7 talent is now what we're seeing for Jaina. Frost Armor used, and normally that's a talent that you see mostly against Zeratul players. It's basically the anti-melee assassin talent. And if you are afraid that that Thrall is going to try and hammer you into the ground, then there is... it's probably a very good reason to go for Frost Armor. Level 7 talent for Thrall himself is now Wind Shear with the additional cooldown reduction, and the temple is being fought over already as both of the teams are committing to it, but Tyrell isn't here just yet. We have also a mule taken for Abathur that's going to help them with the sustain on all of the structures so that they can heal up or repair some of the damage. Oh, Darkmok is getting sniped! They moved in with everything that they had against him, put in the pressure, and now with that early kill in this team battle, we're seeing Mozzarella with a very nice position to take the temple shots, and they have already taken a lead in experience, and this is going to drop level 10 into their hands once that the gate and the tower are being dropped, and especially now since we're seeing Vipellino committing to experience soaking in the mid lane, and Illidan moving up to the top lane. This is looking more and more like they will get a very early lead, and maybe even a kill against Nurg. They they will get him. Abathur is dropped by Shad. Very well played here by Illidan. It was really close, by the way. Abathur was trying to move away, to burrow away, and he nearly got that. Here's, by the way, the Divine Palm, the new talent. So it's a pretty tricky talent sometimes, because if you see as a team that Divine Palm was applied to a hero, the only thing that you have to do to negate it is to just not focus that hero any longer. It's pretty tricky to really coordinate that properly, but sometimes you actually see it happening already, and I think as time progresses and teams are getting more used to dealing with Kharazim as an opponent, it's going to be a bit more common. Later on level 20, you're going to get that cooldown back if the target doesn't die though, and this is where the entire rhythm or the entire dynamic of the talent is going to change then again. So it's really cool to see Kharazim in play, and we are going to find out how much impact the Monk can actually have in these compositions. Besides that, we're seeing Sundering, of course, for Thrall. We're having in this case the Ultimate Evolution. The cooldown got reduced by 20 seconds, it's now at 50 seconds instead of 70 compared to the last patch. Super important. That's one of the reasons why the Jaina Abathur combo is now even stronger than it was before. Uther forced to use Divine Shield on himself in this case, and they're jumping straight into the backline. There's no Divine Shield anymore, so they go straight for Vala, but the Rain of Vengeance already used, and a drop against Illidan. No! He's still being kept alive. He's jumping away, dies in the end now. Finally, Divine Palm was used, and in this case, it didn't do anything. They thought that Illidan would die already, and he didn't. It was very good coordination on the side of Alternate Fancy. Tyrael is also dead, and that is a solid double kill for them. They are starting to close that experience gap, and they're pushing the top lane even further. But that was a perfect example of how you can deal with Divine Palm. Illidan was trying to keep himself alive. Kharazim, the monk, he was there with Divine Palm, used it on Illidan. Illidan didn't die within those 3 seconds, and then the Talon just didn't do anything anymore. He dropped in the end regardless, because they jumped deep to get that kill, but as you can see, he is dead, but, well, he didn't get revived by the Talon. So Dark Monk and his boys got 2 kills in that last fight, and they made up for a lot of the experience that they lost before that. We're now seeing Blumby in the mid lane. Kharazim, again, dead. Was just 2 seconds away from having Divine Palm up ready again. Very frustrating situation now for Team Mozzarella and for Ace of Spades in particular. Shed claiming the shots down at the bottom temple though, and that is really helping them. They might be able to drop that fort. The mule is already working overtime, and it looks like Thrall tries to contest the temple. If he can actually do that, what's better than Thrall? 2 Thralls. Moving in already, trying to hit the wolves. They're pushing the back, Sundering used, and the lockdown against Illidan. Shed jumps away, is going for the well, and oh my god, he survives. He actually survives, but that was a very, very close call. He was still visible, but they couldn't chase him down. I can't believe that Shed survived. He just barely moved in to well up and get his hit points back. Level 13 talents now for both of the teams, and again Ace of Spades with this particular build here on his Monk with the Fists of Fury and the increased duration of the deadly reach. So yeah, we also, look at that, we have a hybrid build for Nurok. He's going for the Bombard strain, so we'll probably use level 16 talent with Locust Brood now as well on his Abathar. A double giant killer for Thrall and Vala is going to help against a single target, with a single target damage, especially of course against a hero like Inuburak. Well, he's not the tankiest tank, but still it's also going to be very strong against Tyrael and also versus Illidan. I mean, no matter who you are trying to attack, if you're going for the single target damage and try to burst down a target, this talent is pretty good. Uther didn't really make a commitment yet, but of course he's going to take his Shrink Ray, and there it is. Shrink Ray already utilized. The teams are very close again when it comes to experience. Tasdingo needs to be careful that he doesn't get locked down here. He went into Burning Rage on this level 13. Imposing Will is now being used as well. And, well, the teams are starting to move over again. The bot lane, the boss is, by the way, still there. And you have the potential now to drop that boss when you're on Alternate Fancy. They have a lot of burst damage for this one. So, again, we're seeing the teams rushing in, trying to go straight for the attack against Ace, moving back already with Kharazim. Sundering being used. They're trying to go for Jaina, and they're gonna get holo. Jaina is dead. Cocoon was used, but now Alternate is trying to go in against Ace. He has his Divine Palm up ready, but it's too late. The 3 seconds are over and he is dying. It's a triple kill for Alternate Fancy. They get 7 kills against 4 now overall, and they can go for boss, and that's exactly what they're doing here. They have the talents to pull him down fast, and that is what they're trying. It's a 5 versus 3 situation, and absolutely no chance for Mozzarella to contest it. Illidan instead is moving over to that Bruiser camp, trying to take at least this away. They might end up claiming this too. They could actually, if they move over to the Bruiser camp immediately, which they probably don't because, well, there is still a boss, so they won't try and push with this one, then they could take the camp away, but Shed is going to get it. Shed is going to take the camp, and yep, this is going to be at least one Bruiser camp pushing for them, but now, down here, we do not only see the boss, we also have a Siege Giant camp with a boss pushing in, and 2 temples up on the map. They are with the back to the wall. They are talent behind. In this case, we are seeing after Giant Killer Tempest Fury taken for Thrall. And as mentioned, Locust Brood. So Abathar can now really push against, like, basically any single lane. We're having him, especially now at the top lane, using the Locust Brood against the bruisers that have just now been captured. But Alternate Fancy is, of course, just attempting to get their own shots now with those 2 temples that are up. They can contest the one up at the top lane too, if they're sending Thrall over there. Vala has just now taken the Siege Giant camp right here. So there's a lot of camps pushing against Team Mozzarella, but they will hit the level 16 in a second, and then they can really start to dive in and contest at least one of these temples. So far, Alternate Fancy has only committed to 1 temple, and there's a double blood for blood now. They're moving in already. Sundering used, and Kharazim is dead again. Perfect stun with Sundering to make sure that he can't use the Divine Palm, and without a healer, you have no chance of actually doing anything here. Kharazim didn't even pick his 16 talent, nor did Tyrael. I have no idea why. I really don't understand this. I mean, I'm not quite sure if Kharazim would have stayed alive. I highly doubt it, because at level 16 you usually just go for the additional heal. But I just don't understand why they didn't pick their 16 talents yet. It's one of those highly anticipated talents that you really want to get. So normally when the talent drops into your lap, you are trying to take it as fast as you can, especially if you're the team that is behind in talents and need to just try to fight on eye level with your opponent. Still no talents taken for both of these heroes, and now that the mid temple was claimed by Alternate Fancy, they just proceed to take the one at the top. They're having Dark Mok and Crossby moving down onto the top lane to drop that wall as well and put some extra damage in. Triple blood for blood now being used, and with Kharazim back, he should go for that healing talent now. That would be the normal build. We've seen the talent taken by Ace of Spades before. We've also seen it taken by Grandpa Kette when he played the hero for TeamLiquid, and I'm a little bit baffled as to why exactly Kharazim would not use that. Did he forget? Did he actually forget to take his talents over the kill that he, well, over the death that he just received a few seconds ago? I'm not 100% certain, but well, I'm just going to assume for now that's going to happen. Pause for a second, maybe there's some problem for them. I'm not 100% certain what's going on, but yeah, him not taking the talent yet is weird. And dying the last fight is another thing. Right now the team coordination doesn't seem to be on the level that it usually is for Team Mozzarella here. It's a newer team, and they just picked up the two Spanish players that were playing for Huron team before, Verbellino and Shad. So of course it's going to be a bit more difficult for them to get the coordination in here in this game. But then again, if we are honest, Alternate is also playing with a completely new setup here. Nurok just like started to play for them, I think for this tournament in particular right now. I'm not even sure if Nurok is already a full part of the lineup. So yeah, Nurok he has played for Kinguin before, and Kinguin just dropped him, I think a few days ago, maybe a week ago. So he's very new to Alternate Fancy as well. Both of the teams therefore with a very new setup. There's the unpause already, and yeah, Ace of Spades forgot to take his talent. He simply forgot. He's gonna pick it at some point, but right now that is a problem for them. I'm not sure if it's going to decide a fight in favor of their opponent, but with him not picking that heal talent, that's just heal that they miss out upon. A copy on Muradin, by the way, using those stuns, or at least trying to. We're having 16 versus 19 right now, and the teams are aiming for that 20. And one of the things, of course, that helped a lot, I mean, just looking at the experience leech here, 15,000 on Abathur. Nurok soaking experience wherever he could, and now he's also, of course, using that Locust Brood. We have rotations on the map again, where the teams are trying to move over to the Siege Giant camps and take them, with Mozzarella moving on to the Bruisers instead. And there's the heal talent finally taking the Circle of Life, Breath of Heaven, dealing 10% for each hero in the cast range. So, yep, that works, and that's something that they needed. Didn't really come into play, thankfully, for them, but yeah, for the longest time, he did not really remember to take this one. So, right now, we're having them starting to go for their team fight, potentially, again. The level 20 talent isn't there yet. Cocoon already used, and they jump in immediately with the Raid of Vengeance. Shad is extremely low, and there's the Divine Palm coming to play now. Already Divine Shield used on Dark Mok. Shad jumps in, but here from the backline, Vipolino with the Judgment. In comes Blomby trying to stun them out, but it's a kill against Tyrael. He gets blown up and everybody's on the run, and Dark Mok is just blinking in. They have the level 20 talent now, and he uses the Bolt of the Storm to go deep against Dingo, and they are going to get that kill. Dingo down, it's a double Thrall, and they lock down Jaina, and they kill her immediately. There's also, of course, next to the double Thrall, after the copy time is over, the potential to go straight into the Hive Mind, and that is a talent that they are going to use even more. Uther hasn't taken Redemption yet, and by the way, Uther needs to take Redemption now before he dies. In the old patch, he could take it after his death, when he was still in Ghost form. That got changed, so Uther players will take this a bit faster. The GG, as we are seeing an immediate kill on the core, thanks to this opportunity. The 1-0 lead in the game now for Alternate Fancy. Green Jesus, Thrall, he was victorious. The War Chief, Thrall, he is successful, he wins a game. There were a few changes to Thrall, especially when it comes to his auto attack. The animation got changed. Doesn't sound like much, but it makes playing the hero a bit more comfortable and also getting the damage in with him. So that might influence him enough to see him more in this patch. Alternate Fancy, of course, is a team that really prefers to play Thrall either way. They already did so in the last patch, so we'll see if other teams pick up on that too. We have the lead for Alternate Fancy now, and the second map is Cursed Hollow. And again, both of the teams starting to draft here, of course, and once more, it is an Illidan composition, but this time for Alternate Fancy, and they're running it with Monk again. So Kharazim is part of their composition here. They're trying to utilize that together with Illidan to take down Team Mozzarella for the second time, and if Mozzarella loses one more map, they're out of the Enter the Storm. Alternate Fancy, they really want to go to the round of 8, and they have to fight against the Zeratul, against the Leoric, against the Jaina. It's a pretty strong draft that we're seeing here on the side of Team Mozzarella, but they're also running a Khaldor, so that means that they're only running Leoric as a solo tank, and there's a lot of damage that they have. It's a very aggressive setup, but that's also taking, of course, a bit of a risk. You don't have a front line with 2 warriors, you can't really protect the back line as much as you would like to, but you have so much damage that you can possibly turn down every single attempt of your opponent to reach your backline and just burst them away before that happens. We're going to find out together now, though, if Alternate Fancy advance to the round of 8 after the match on Cursed Hollow, or if we're going to see a third map between Alternate Fancy and Team Mozzarella. The second game in the best of 3 series at the Consolation match here in Group A of the Enter the Storm playoffs. Mozzarella is going up against Alternate Fancy, and Alternate Fancy has taken the lead on Sky Temple. On this map we have to the left side again Mozzarella with Tazdingo on Jaina, Ace of Spades on Malfurion, and Shat on Zeratul. Khaldor is chipping in a bit of additional damage. Holo is playing him here, and Vipellino is on the single tank for the team. It is Leoric. To the right side of the map then again we're having currently Nurok on Anuburak, Blumbi on Muradin for Alternate Fancy, Kharazim played by Happy, Crosby on Vala, and Darkmok on Illidan. So both of the teams are currently running a melee assassin, and we are seeing, as you can say, one single tank. A very aggressive setup, by the way, on the side of Team Mozzarella. High risk, high reward, what they are currently running here. At this point we're seeing a Seasoned Marksman taken, really important talent for them, so that Tazdingo, sorry, in this case it's actually Shat who plays the hero, can get his damage in at the later stage of the game. Auto attack build again for Vala, and a lot of pressure over here in the middle of the map as both of the teams really commit to this attack, except for Illidan, who went up to the top and is already working against the wave over here. Darkmok, of course, before he hits his level 4, where he gets Immolation, doesn't really have too much wave there. He's going to do whatever he can, but still it's not going to be too much before the later stage of the game. But 1 or 2 minions have been annihilated, so that's a little bit of experience that Mozzarella just lost. It's not going to be too bad, but still, just to be completely honest. Oh, Blumbi. Yeah, Blumbi with a zoning Stormbolt. Not hitting Ace of Spades there, and yeah, they eat quite a bit of damage, especially of course Holo with his build going straight for the living bombs is going to be quite annoying. We have Happy in the mid lane up against Chad. Kharazim is so far doing whatever he can, just like dashing in, dashing out, making sure that he gets his heals up. We're having him of course with Transcendence on level 1 for the heal ability. We've seen Kharazim already played quite a lot here today. Ace of Spades played the hero for Mozzarella, we saw him play by Paqueta for TeamLiquid, and at this point we have Alternate Fancy for the first time also with that melee assassin slash support healer hybrid hero, and he can be a lot of fun. He gets actually also crazy numbers out, especially if you're having a melee heavy setup and everybody is in there, and is really strong. The one thing that I personally feel is, and this game is probably gonna show to a certain extent if I'm right or not, that Khaldor is very strong against Kharazim, and I feel this is one of the reasons why we've seen him picked last on the side of Mozzarella, despite them probably thinking about a second tank as well. The problem that you have with Kharazim is when you're going up against Khaldor is that Kharazim is a melee hero, and for him to really get his damage or his heals in, sorry, he needs to be close to the target that he's healing. He has an AoE heal, so he needs to go and jump deep next to his allies to really get those numbers up. And in the case of team, of Kelthas, he changed a lot in the last patch. Ignite is not available to you anymore. There were a few changes though on the living bombs, especially the range that you have with the explosions on a level 7 talent. If you're going for the fission bomb, is quite strong. It's increased to 30% now, and that means that if you have a living bomb on the opponent with then later on also the level 13 talent, and Kharazim jumps in to heals targets up, and you have all of them in one space, that can do a ton of damage with those living bombs. And that's one of those reasons why Kharazim seems to be a very strong hero against, sorry, the other way around. Kelthas seems to be a very strong hero against Kharazim. So this is one of the things that we are probably going to see later on in the game at level 13 is reached for Kelthas. The first tribute, uncontested basically, ends up in the hands of Alternate Fancy. They're getting pushed pretty hard down here at the bot lane. It's a 3 versus 2. Blumby and Crosby are doing what they can, but they already lost one tower and they're going to lose another one pretty soon as well if they're not careful. In regards to the talents, we're seeing still Sledgehammer taken. The level 1 talent is Reverberation. More to deal with Zeratul than anybody else, since he's the only hero that really relies heavily on his auto attack for damage. Vibellino at the top lane is going to do whatever he can to push these lanes back, but so far Darkmog is actually doing an extremely solid job here against Leoric. Quite impressive that he was able to do that. We're seeing in the mid lane still Nurok versus Zeratul here, and now that 2 minutes, actually we are 3 minutes in already, we're seeing the first camps being taken. In case that you didn't know, 2 minutes in the game, the mercenary camps spawn. The only exception is the boss. The boss camps spawn 3 minutes into the match. Normally, when you have an Illidan in the game, this is like the Illidan team is usually the team that can start the bosses the earliest, especially if you're running with an Illidan Abathur. Then Abathur can help out Illidan to do that basically solo, which is pretty cool. Kharazim has not really committed to a level 4 talent. Then this is one of those things where we have a few different builds. I mean, on the level 4 you can, for example, go for the Protective Shield, which is something that Ace has done several times when he was playing the hero. When we saw Gran Paquete play him, he went more into the Deadly Reach talents instead, which help you then, of course, as well. But in this case, we have to wait and find out what exactly Kharazim is going to pick here. But both of the teams are, of course, still playing here a little bit... I don't really want to call it timid now that we're seeing the well go down, but they are playing very, very careful. They move in whenever they can, but they're just trying to pressure lanes, get a few camps there. It's not really too much team fighting yet. They're not really going into those battles over those tributes. The last tribute was one that they just let go. Nurok has to move away here, and he does, but there's already the rotation. Oh, Stormbolt against Chat, but level 7 talents are already for both of them. And this is where we are seeing the fission bomb, and there's the radius increase from the damage by 30%, which I was mentioning earlier. The tribute is up at the top, and Blumby is trying to now get it. Both of them actually going for the channel right away. And we're seeing Snowstorm for Jaina, so the increased radius for her talent as well. But it's the second tribute for Team Alternate. Blumby has to move away. There's the damage though. In comes the second living bomb. Nurok and Blumby both got blown up there. And they're just moving away for now. Level 7 versus level 7, but it's still like a bit of extra damage that we're seeing here, thanks to all those AoE damage types that we are having on the side of Team Mozzarella. With Blizzard, with the Living Bomb, including the Fission Bomb talent, of course. Now we have Echo of Heaven taken here. And that is a really solid talent on level 7. On level 4, by the way, was Protective Shield, so the same talent choices that so far Ace of Spades made on the hero. Up to the top lane, we're having Holo and Blumby. It's basically just a bit of a rotation that is happening between the teams now. At the bot lane, it's Shat and Happy, but of course, with now 2 minutes in, already passed long ago when the first camps taken earlier by Team Alternate Fancy, we're now also seeing Team Mozzarella trying to do the exact same thing to put some pressure on the top lane, especially now that there is another tribute spawning at the bot lane. The longer this fight goes, the more those two Siege Titans will be able to dish out in damage up at the top against the structures. Illidan even took another Bruiser camp here. He soloed that pretty easily. They are behind in experience, Alternate Fancy that is, but they have 2 tributes, and if they get the third one here, double stun, they're actually going in for the kills. They want to have the kill here first, and Kharazim jumps in, and Holo is dead. Holo dying, very nice damage here on the side of Alternate Fancy. They go in deep. Blumby missing the Stormbolt, but it does not matter. Both of them die, it's a triple kill. Wow. Alternate Fancy committing heavily to this one. They get the triple kill. Now they can take the tribute and curse their opponent. Experience is still very similar, but this was of course a huge win now for Alternate Fancy. They get the tribute. Are they going to try and go for boss? I don't think they should, but they're stunning in again. A double stun against Ace of Spades, and goodbye Malfurion. 4 kills against 0 thanks to all of this, and now they're rotating over. They want to take the boss. They started. I'm not sure if they can though, because Muradin is moving up to the top lane, and we have Vala trying to claim the fort. Maybe not even trying to go for the boss, but trying to focus the attention of their opponent here. Now that the level 10s are ready though, thanks to the experience that was soaked, they're very likely to get that boss after all. Divine Palm, Muradin is going straight for Avatar. We have Cocoon, aka Web Blast, Strafe, and Metamorphosis. And without the level 10s, there's just no chance for Mozzarella to really contest it. So, yep, the boss has been taken. The bottom already pressured. Shed just blinked. He's most likely going to fall. Yeah, they're going in, but there comes at least for them now the Void Prison. He's still trying to run. He's waiting for his cooldown. Ace of Spades out of the Cocoon. Shed is still in cooldown, and he's down. Oh, Zeratul dead, and oh my god, they are getting blasted away. Malfurion dying, Vipolino is nearly getting stunned by the boss, uses the Wraith Walk in the last second, but Darkmonk is already on his heels. Great move here from Holo, making sure that he gets the Gravity Lapse in. Thanks to the Verdant Spheres, he gets the double stun as well. Ring of Frost, by the way, taken. Ring of Frost can be quite nice in the setup here. If Ring of Frost hits and you use that Phoenix and also the March of the Black King together with it, you can pretty much blow an entire team away. And let's be honest, that's kind of what they have to do. They really have to take these boys down. So if you get a good Void Prism, you combo it with Ring of Frost, and then you go straight for Phoenix and March of the Black King. That sounds like a pretty scary wombo combo, and something that they can really try and do to come back into this game, because at this point, they're falling behind. And they're falling behind fast. They are one level behind, which is not... it's not really the end of days, right? But still, you are a level behind, you already lost your first fort, you are under pressure, and you are starting to lose heroes left, right, bottom, and center. You're also a game behind already, one entire map behind, and that must really be a big problem to deal with. Tazdingo is... yeah, no way that Jaina escapes here. They are going to go for Jaina. They got Illidan is dead though, so it's a 1-for-1, but the counter kill again against Leoric, and this is now a 2-for-1, and they're going to get Malfurion as well. They go straight in deep with another potential stun. No, he gets away. No, does he? Yes. Wow. The Root and the Gravity Lapse. Holo on Kel'Thuz's really doing work for his team at this point. It's still a victory with a 2-for-1 for Alternate Fancy, and they're very close to level 13. Now they even get a stun in against Chat, but in this case it's not really threatening the life of Zeratul. Level 13 talents would be important. They're actually trying to move in again. Ace with the Root, Void Prison and Root at the same time. That didn't help too much, but they might still get the kill. Yes! No! Divine Palm! Divine Palm keeps Nuruk alive. Wow, that was beautiful by the Monk. Kharazim with a place. Ace is down. Oh god, the healer and the re-engage. They jump back in. And they go straight for the kills here. Cocoon used. Vipolino is low, very low, and dead. And now they go straight for a kill against Holo. And this time, he has no chance whatsoever. Very, very well built here. Great play. And they also go up at the top now for a kill against the fort. Unbelievable. Complete momentum that is in the hands of Team Alternate Fancy. Shat is trying to steal the tribute away, and I guess that he's going to be able to do that. Muradin seems a bit too late for this. Yes, he is. But the level 13 talents are now in their hands, and there we have Frost Shot. We see Sixth Sense. Relentless has been chosen. Thunder Strike and Spell Shield. What's pretty interesting, by the way, we didn't really get a chance to talk about it because there was so much action happening, is the strafe on Vala. The reason is actually simple. I've been talking about this in the past. If you see a hero, if you see Vala going into an auto-attack build, then normally it's as a direct result, Reign of Vengeance as the heroic ability. And the reason is simple. You're trying to build your Rancor stacks up. The Hatred stacks. To get Rancor and all that attack speed. The problem is, if you actually use Strafe, you are losing all of them during the duration of Strafe, so you have to build them up again. And that's one of the main reasons why nearly every single Vala player that goes into an auto-attack will also use Reign of Vengeance, because these stacks are super important, and you lose out on a lot of damage if they are just gone and you have to build them up again. So in this case, Crosby is apparently saying that he is absolutely willing to take that disadvantage of Strafe over Reign of Vengeance, because they don't need lockdown, but he wants to have that auto attack damage against heroes, against like that backline. We've been talking about the squishiness, well, talking squishiness, there's Zeratul dying, of the setup, but yeah, now that they're down a hero again, this is just not working out for Alternate Fancy. I mean, sorry, for Mozzarella. For Alternate Fancy, it's working out very well. Here come the living bombs, by the way. Crosby is eating one now, and that is a lot of damage that you can dish out with this. So this is the build that Kalthas will use to try and counteract Kharazim and also make sure that he is getting a ton of damage in, since there's so many melee heroes. I mean, there's 4 melee heroes now on the setup of Alternate Fancy. So Living Bomb should do a whole lot of work. We're also seeing, after the Fealty onto Death and Ocean's Renewal, Crushing Hope on the side of Leoric. So with those talents, they're really now starting to make some plays. They have to, because they're not going to be on even talents with their opponent for a long time, since level 16 hits any second for Team Alternate Fancy. I can't actually believe that they go in without that, but they know there's only a few heroes and they get Holo, and wow, even with the Ring of Frost and Phoenix, there's just no way. Nice stasis here for Jaina, but it's just a bit too late. Vippolino is now dead too. And over here we had Ace of Spades and chat go for a Bruiser Camp. They are getting wrecked. 15 kills against 1. 15 against 1, and now they go for boss again. They have the level 16 talents. It's a triple blood for blood already. Kharazim is going for the heal, potentially. The Relentless is, by the way, interesting on level 13. We've seen a lot of level 13 talents already for him. Relentless is a bit new, so to each their own. There's a couple of things that you can actually take there. If you feel like you're going to be one of the heroes that gets focused during the upcoming fights, then going Relentless is of course a pretty good choice here. And in this case, he was apparently a bit worried about it. Could have gone into a spell shield as well. Up to the top lane, Kharazim is actually the one that's getting attacked by Shat here. As a tribute, it would be the second one for Alternate Fancy. He's not using his talent yet. The bot lane, that's where we are having a boss moving in against the first keep. Illidan jumps in to save himself, and just look at the living bombs here. There is no healer with this. They don't have a healer down here. They need to be a bit more careful. There's also Nubarok missing. What are they doing? Like, they get the counter kill against Leoric, but this is extremely greedy what they're doing here. Here comes the Void Prison now, and Crosby dies. Kharazim is finally arriving, and they are locking down Norok. Norok in the Ring of Frost. He's eating also a bit more damage. Happy is healing him, but they lost 2 heroes, Vala and Illidan, and I do not understand why they were this greedy. They get the keep, that's definitely worth a lot, but still, I don't really think that it was necessary for them to go into such a situation with a 3 versus 4 and also a fight where they didn't have a healer. It's a bit surprising to me to see that. They are still 2 levels ahead. They are still in a very strong position. But that was a risk that I'm not quite sure if it was really worth taking. So we have now Soothing Breeze taken, which is an interesting choice too. It's not the additional talent that we've seen in the last few games where Kharazim was picked, but instead it is basically the cleanse that you have. Remove silence, blind, slows, and root. So more of an area cleanse if you so want, which can be super nice. A weaker version of the talent, of course, but still, it's pretty awesome, especially if we're going up against Tenacious Roots, which in this case is not happening, but the Roots alone are already annoying. Hardened Focus is helping Malfurion to apply them a bit more often. We have 16 talents now for both of the teams. That means for a short amount of time, we are going to see both of the teams on eye level when it comes to the talents. Blumbi and Shad already there. It's really just the first keep that was important to take. And now that, well, once we're seeing level 20 for Team Alternate Fancy, they need to try and capitalize on it a bit more. We have 16 kills against 3. And this is the time when Mozzarella can start a comeback. This is the time. And they are starting to move in against Happy. Happy is alone up here. They rotate to help him. He gets the Divine Palm in, and now they have to fight, and they go in deep. The Void Prism only hitting 1. Living bombs everywhere. Crosby super low, and Kharazim is down, but Chat is dying in Holo as well. 2 heroes dead already, and they go to make it 3. They try to take down Tazdingo, and without the living bombs, there's just not enough damage in this particular fight for Mozzarella any longer. Ace of Spades trying to keep the rest of them alive, but he is getting dropped, and this looks very much like we're gonna see a complete team wipe. 4 kills already, and even with a Wraith Walk, Vippolino is not able to escape. 21 kills against 5, level 19, nearly 20 versus 17. The tribute is on the map. This is going to be another curse. There's a boss up on the map as well. They can also simply move in and drop these structures, and Darkmok is already on it. So they are not even going for the tribute, at least not now. They just move in against the keep first, and they can get that bloody tribute on the move back. They won't be able to core, but they will be able to take a keep and then rotate back to get the tribute. And therefore put the curse in. They're already moving away. We have Kharazim. He just healed up. He just came back to life. Of course, they lost Vala here now as well, and therefore they have to move over there. So they go straight for the tribute. The rest of the team is starting to focus up to the top for the boss. We're having 20 talents now in play. And with level 20, we're going to potentially see Kharazim now go for that Divine Palm talent, which makes sure that if he actually misses the cooldown, then he can just reapply it a bit later. The fight is about to start. Kharazim is not with the team yet. Blumby is getting completely locked down, and without a healer, these fights are just not easy to take. It's a 4 versus 5 now. Kharazim is there. Mozzarella tries to go for the boss, but the curse is pushing against their last keep. And they go deep with the 4 versus 5. They get the kill, and they go for Holo. Vala is dead though, but so is Kelthas. And Tazdingo is getting healed by the Tranquility of Malfuri, but not for long enough. 3 heroes dead again, and that level 20 talent is just way too strong. We have Storm Shield, by the way, taken by Kharazim. My apologies, I actually thought he did not take his talent yet, but actually he did. It's Storm Shield instead of the level 20 Divine Palm talent. And we're having Muradin without a talent taken. If he would have actually taken Hardened Shield, he could have survived a bit longer. Not that it really has an impact on the outcome of the game, because, well, we can all see how this is going to end. The Catapult's already dropping the core, and the rest of Alternate Fancy is moving in for the kill. It's a 2-0. Team Alternate Fancy advances together with TeamLiquid to the round of 8 of the Enter the Storm 3. Round of 8. Very well played here. Great plays by Alternate Fancy, and Mozzarella just not strong enough today to take them on. Team Mozzarella defeated. They lose on Cursed Hollow, the second map in a row against Alternate Fancy in the Consolation match here. Both of the teams, of course, with new players, new additions, players that they try out, substitute players. Shad and Vibelino on the side of Team Mozzarella. We have Nurok also joining the ranks of Alternate Fancy for this tournament. And they are successful. They take it. Alternate Fancy, they advance together with TeamLiquid to the round of 8 of the Enter the Storm out of Group A here. And Mozzarella, unfortunately for them, they won one of the qualifiers. They qualified for the group stage, but they lost 2 of their matches here today, and that's why we have them not participating in the rest of the tournament any longer. They are eliminated, and we are of course going to see in the upcoming group stages which other teams are going to be able to reach the round of 8. We had pretty sick games today here in our group. I hope that you enjoyed them. I hope that you enjoyed the commentary too. We saw Thrall, we saw Kharazim, so actually a lot of really cool compositions. If you enjoyed the video, then make sure that you give it a thumbs up on YouTube. Subscribe to Khaldor TV if you haven't done it yet, and if you want to see more Heroes of the Storm action on the channel, there's going to be a lot more Enter the Storm matches in the near future. There's going to be more Road to BlizzCon games and all kinds of stuff here. So if you don't want to miss out on that, then hit that sub button and hit it hard. I'm going to see you guys next time with more Heroes of the Storm here on the YouTube channel. Have a great day, and see you soon. Bye-bye.